There must be something in the unwritten rules of the universe that says if you make a video about your vehicle fleet and say that there are no issues, that then immediately following that, there are going to be issues. And today I'm driving my F-150 Lightning back to my local dealer to get a repair piece booked in under warranty. One of the little clips for the rear luggage space has broken. So I thought that it would be a good time for me to also give you a bit of an update video regarding some of the comments that you've been making and some of our official responses to them. Yeah, after making the F-150 Lightning update video a couple of weeks ago, we actually had two big failures. One was a 12-volt battery issue, which I will be making a video about very shortly. The other one is just a little trim piece clip that has broken. Since my truck is still under warranty, I'm going to go and get a replacement one without having to pay for it. If it was out of warranty, I probably wouldn't bother, but it's in warranty, so I might as well get a replacement. But we also realised that we haven't made a response video to some of the comments that we've been getting in quite a while. And I am not going to lie, we've been getting a lot of interesting comments of late in our comments section regarding Elon Musk, Tesla, Donald Trump, politics, how we make our money, etc., etc., etc. Some people have been ramping up threats, and I will come to that later in the video. But let's start with some pretty basic stuff. And that is the complete and total dominance in the news cycle at the moment of Elon Musk and Donald Trump and Tesla and all of the stuff that we have elected not to cover. And lots of people are accusing us in the comments of some really large amounts of hate and blaming us for all of the bad things that are happening in the world right now. And so we are in this difficult position where I don't want to give voice to some of the stuff that's being said in our comments section. I don't want to amplify it. I don't want to necessarily draw attention to it, but I also want to make sure that we have stated on the record where we sit and what we think so that we can point people in the direction of this video in the future. So I guess we should probably start with the whole vandalism against Teslas thing. In a video nearly a month ago now, we were talking about alternative vehicles if you happen to own a Tesla and you don't want to own a Tesla anymore. Things that you can do to change your vehicle ownership, or ways that you can not support Tesla while continuing to own a vehicle that you paid a lot of money for. In that video, near the end, Kate voiced her opinion that if you bought a Tesla Cybertruck, and bear in mind the Cybertruck has only been made for about 1.5 years now, long after it became apparent who Elon Musk was and what his opinions in the world were and what he wanted to do in terms of buying elections and power and all of that. If you bought a Cybertruck after that point, her opinion was voiced that she would have no sympathy if someone came along and vandalized your vehicle by drawing a giant willy on it or doing something similar. And we have been beset by people claiming in the comments that we were promoting vandalism of property. And I want to make it absolutely clear that that was not the intent, nor was it what we were doing. We were just saying, hey, if you do a thing that is known to be controversial and is known to have a lot of people riled up, while the action of vandalizing someone's property is not okay, the amount of sympathy available for someone who does something that is knowingly provocative and supports a company that is provocative and controversial is going to come with consequences. Some of our most vocal haters in the comment section have accused us of promoting vandalism, of being paid by the Democratic Party, by organizing protests. And just this week, Donald Trump claimed that the protests against Tesla are illegal, and that he wants to try and classify protests against Tesla as domestic terrorism. First off, wow. Just wow. We live in a country where we have the right, the freedom of speech to make statements about things, and while people very often misunderstand the amendments that give people freedom of speech, it's also worth noting that as someone who is connected with the government, Elon Musk is going to open himself up to criticism of the government and therefore of him, and people are going to protest against him and his actions within the federal government. Protest Doge, protest all of the other stuff that he is doing right now, all of the massive cuts, all of the people whose jobs are being lost, all of the people whose futures are being irreparably damaged by sudden changes in policy, all driven by him. Protesting at Tesla showrooms, protesting at Tesla superchargers, as long as it's peaceful protests, I personally have no problem with peaceful protests. Violence is something else. I am personally a bit of a pacifist. I don't think that violence is necessarily the option. I am a big fan of good trouble. The late John Lewis used to talk about civil disobedience and making good trouble. And if you are someone who is protesting against what Elon Musk is doing and what Tesla stands for, and you're doing it peacefully, I think that's totally okay. Vandalism of other people's property is wrong. I don't think it serves any benefit, and I actually had a conversation with someone recently on social media in which I reiterated that you do not know the circumstances or the situation of a person who owns a particular vehicle. I know of people who purchased Teslas a long time ago and who are absolutely against everything that Elon Musk currently stands for. And they don't deserve to have their vehicles targeted. Some of them are working very hard to counter the things that Elon Musk is doing, and they are also trying to sell their vehicles. A friend of mine just this last weekend reached out and said, hey, I sold my Tesla, and they actually went into a plug-in Prius, which from an environmental point you could argue is a kind of a backward step, but from a practical reason, they did no longer want to drive a Tesla, and I support their decision. And the fact that they went into a plug-in hybrid, they don't drive a whole lot, and so most of their journeys is still going to be in all-electric mode. And I know Toyota has its own issues. We have talked about ethical consumerism a bunch on this channel, and therefore I think it's really important that we are cognizant of there not being a perfect solution. And kind of as an addendum to that, there are a lot of whataboutism posts on our channel right now accusing me of being a terrible person because I drive a Ford and a Chevy, and citing the fact that Henry Ford was a supporter of fascism. Henry Ford's no longer alive, and yes, while the company who makes the truck that I drive has its roots in that, it's not the company that we see today. The same for Volkswagen, right? A lot of people argue that, well, Volkswagen was started by the Nazi Party in Germany in World War II, and if you drive a Volkswagen, you're no better than someone who drives a Tesla. Or you can't say that it's bad to support Elon Musk and Tesla because he is a fascist when you drive a Volkswagen. And again, the answer there is that historical past behavior does not represent the company as it stands today. And the problem that Tesla has right now, as witnessed by the stock market and everything else, is that Elon Musk's actions are directly impacting those of Tesla. And lots of people have been arguing in the comments and saying, well, Tesla sales are down because of the Model Y, the new Model Y. The data doesn't back that up. One of our biggest trolls has been spouting off about Canada and Tesla having massive sales in one particular province, and there is an active investigation into that because the numbers that came in for incentives from Tesla dealerships in that particular province just don't add up. And we haven't covered any of this because it's noise. The whole Tesla Elon Musk stuff right now is noise. Tesla may have helped start the electric car revolution, and we can support the position that it put other automakers into, encouraging them to bring new models to market that were electric. But we no longer have to support a company that is run by someone who pulls Nazi salutes at events, who makes jokes about, terrible moments in history, and who spreads conspiracy theories. There is no requirement. This is not an either or. You don't have to support EVs and support Tesla. You can support EVs and not support Tesla. We're actually working on a new bumper sticker for our website that will say pro-EV, anti-fascist, because you can be both. So I just want to put all of that to one side. I know that's taken quite a large amount of time out of this video. I also want to throw in very quickly the thing about Donald Trump performing a sales pitch of a Tesla in front of the White House earlier this week, and I think that was a terrible use of government funds. The fact that Donald Trump doesn't actually drive is kind of amusing. That for him to say he was going to buy a Tesla is kind of bonkers as far as I can see. But hey, we can't also pretend that other presidents haven't done events with automakers. President Biden held several events outside the White House promoting policies and had multiple EV companies present, talking about government bills that he had signed into law that were designed to promote EVs. President Biden has also publicly on camera driven several different EVs. He drove a prototype F-150 Lightning. He drove a Hummer EV, I believe. And then not so long ago, he drove the Ford Illuminator, the electric Ford 100 series, F100 series, that was converted to electric. So he's done his fair share of driving electric vehicles as well. In fact, he's done more than Donald Trump, who, as I've noted, as far as I can tell, doesn't drive. And the tenor and the way in which those events took place was very different. It's also worth noting that Donald Trump has railed again and again and again and again and again and again and again against EVs. So it's incredibly hypocritical for him to talk about how terrible EVs are, but to suddenly come out and support Elon Musk. And following the money on that, Elon Musk gave him a lot of money, so take from that what you will. Like I say, we haven't covered all of that in our news because it feels like noise and hype that doesn't serve a purpose other than to make a lot of noise and hype. Finally, for the Tesla discussion stuff, some people are asking why we haven't talked about Tesla's promise to double its production. Again, hype. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot behind that. Or Elon Musk's claim that he wants to rebuild the Cybertruck that was involved in the Tesla bombing earlier this year at the start of the year, and put that back on the road. I frankly think that is abhorrent, obscene. We will not cover it. We will not feature any photographs of any vehicles in which anybody has died for whatever reason. That is not how we do it. We think it is incredibly disrespectful and should not be done. End of discussion. Hopefully all of that will give our trolls plenty to chew on, and also help cement our position on where we are and how we feel about things. there are many ways that you can support EVs today without supporting that one company. And one of the best ways that we can protest and make our voices heard is to act with our wallets. And also, as I mentioned, make good trouble. So let's talk about some of the other comments that have been coming our way of late, because there have been a few. Lots of people have been making allegations against myself and the rest of the team about political connections and being paid agents. I want to confirm that's nonsense. If you want to think that way, fine. That's your prerogative. But maybe you should seek some professional help. If you're coming up with those kind of conspiracies, it's not necessarily helpful or healthy for you. Additionally, lots of people, there's one particular person who comments regularly who says, hey, you're a terrible channel, you don't tell the truth, you pick and choose news stories. Look, there are many news stories, and we are a small channel, and we do our best to cover everything as fairly as possible. When we screw up, we let you know. Which, by the way, earlier this week, I said in a video that 800-volt batteries generally are under less stress than 400-volt batteries, and many of you objected to that and said, hey, the way that the circuits are wired is important, and if you've got the same amount of physical capacity and you wire it for 800 volts versus 400 volts, it all evens out in the wash. And yes, I should have noted that, so I'm sorry. That's an example of us correcting ourselves when we screw up. But this one particular person is very, very keen on trying to out us as liars, and likes to claim all manner of things about who we are and what we do, none of which are provable. And at the end of the day, I guess if they're making obnoxious comments on our channel, it helps with the algorithm and it helps with our ad revenue. So thanks for that. You're really, really helping. A couple other people have made some comments recently about, we talk about how we're funded and how we don't have a huge amount of spare cash. We don't. Last year, we did our taxes for last year and we made a very, very small profit on paper. But by the time we had accounted for things like the electricity to my home and kind of what we call the pass-through things, so portion of the house we use for the company and all of that, we made a slight loss. And a lot of people are going, yeah, but you've got this massive house in the country and you have this big truck and you have all of these solar panels. I want to be... First of all, it's none of your damn business how we fund our stuff. I'm very transparent about how the company is supported. We get money from Patreon supporters who are amazing, who help us. When we get extra donations, we mention it, and the people who do that are amazing, and we really love them and are very grateful for all the support they do. One person in particular is helping put our Vectrex VX1 back on the road. They know who they are. They are amazing. I consider them incredibly generous, and I do not know what it is that we have done to be considered worthy of that much of support, but thank you. But we also do third-party production work. Whenever we have a potential conflict of interest, we don't actually work with the company covering it if we are working for it in any commercial way. And we don't do special deals. One of the reasons we don't get cars as readily as some other outlets is because we don't buy them. We wait until they're on the press fleet, and we go through as fairly as we possibly can. So, some people have sort of saying, oh, but you've got plenty of money, clearly. I want to be really clear that my house, how I funded my house, how I bought my house, was the way that everybody else buys their house, by saving money, by saving up for a deposit, by leveraging a small inheritance that I got, that allowed me to pay off my student loans early, And a bonus that my partner got from a company that she used to work for was acquired by another firm, and it came with a bonus, and she got that bonus, and we put it in a savings account to be able to afford the down payment for our house. We also bought our house when interest rates were incredibly low. And as a side, I know for a fact that the amount of money I pay for my mortgage is about the same as some of my team pay to rent a home. So we got a really good deal on the house. The solar panels, the heat pumps, they were investments. And I feel like me going into that in any great detail is severely crossing a line that I should not have to cross. But short of showing you my bank statements, you kind of have to you kind of have to trust that what I say in terms of our company's funding is what happens. And if you don't believe me, that's a you problem, not a me problem. So threatening to report us to tax bodies and other things like that, it's frustrating. I can state now that I did get audited last year. I don't know if it was prompted by someone, reaching out and being vindictive and reporting us, or if it was just a system thing. I don't know, and I don't care. But suffice to say that the person who was going to the audit with us was very impressed with our bookkeeping. So don't waste your time or mine, because there have been threats made against us for that reason. The other threat that has been made regularly is to report us to the FBI or to other bodies, federal government bodies, especially under Donald Trump, for misinformation, or for broadcasting while trans, or for being illegal immigrants, or whatever nonsense ideas you can come up with, and they really are nonsense ideas. And I'm laughing because of the ridiculousness of it all. The comments that people send our way and some of the theories that people have about Transport Evolved, again, it makes me worry for your mental health, because some of the theories are way out there and none of them are true. So again, if you are posting those kinds of nonsense threats on the channel, be my guest. I'm not going to lie. The current US situation right now, political situation, scares us. As a team made up of LGBTQIA+ creators, we are in the crosshairs from many different people, and the current administration has emboldened folks. We get death threats on the regular. We get people threatening us with all kinds of nonsense. Someone was threatening us with long guns this week. And sometimes YouTube lets me remove those comments and report them, and sometimes YouTube doesn't. Which brings me to threats. If you make a threat to us, a direct threat to us that implies that you are coming for us or our lives or the people we care about or our stuff, you will get reported wherever possible. YouTube makes it difficult for spam and hate. I have tried reaching out to my YouTube contacts, and all I get is, have you tried talking to support? YouTube has effectively a 2-tier system, unless you are a really top tier creator, and we're not. Most of the contacts you get from YouTube are designed to sell you new products. So, hey, have you tried this new thing that we're doing? And the answer normally is, no, I have a problem with my spam. I need you to help. And then the usual response is, have you tried reaching out to support? This last weekend, we weren't able to moderate any of our comments. Like, we reported spam comments, and there's lots of crypto scam comments, and there are people pretending to be us in comments as well. We tried reporting them and they just wouldn't disappear. They just would disappear and then come straight back, disappear and then come straight back. And I actually spent the best part of 3 hours trying to delete all of those comments and just gave up because it wasn't working. Reported it to YouTube, have heard nothing back. So to those who are upset that we're not moderating our comments section well enough, I hear you. We are trying our damnedest. But at the same point, there's only so much that we can do. if the system that we are using is not functioning as it should, right? And so we have lost people on Patreon who are upset about our lack of moderation of YouTube. And I just want to put it out here. We are not responsible for anything that is put in our comment section. We will do our best to try and keep it safe and welcoming for everyone. But if YouTube is not helping us moderate, if YouTube's tools are not functioning properly for moderation, it's not our fault. It's YouTube's fault. And at the end of the day, YouTube is more interested in making money than it is in helping content creators stay safe. And in a world where anti-discrimination is considered discriminatory, which just blows my freaking mind, where diversity, equity, and inclusion is looked upon as a bad thing, and content creators who fit any kind of non-cis het profile are viewed with suspicion. There's only so much we can do, right? It's unfortunate, but it is the situation that we find ourselves in, and we are not in control of that. Again, I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but I need to, because clearly from some of the comments that are being left, and I'm laughing because it's better than crying, because of those comments, I feel like I have to say something. And yes, some of the comments do impact us, and they do make us have bad days. And I think right now the news in the US is terrifying for many groups of people. It's not just the queer community, it's for many, many groups. It is abhorrent what is happening. I do not support it. I did not vote for the guy. I know that many of you didn't either. And those of you who did, I think some of you are starting to regret your choices. And that's that's something that you have to deal with, not take it out on others. So we are at this crossroads, not the Elon Musk crossroads, by the way, where as a society we have to decide whether we stand up to the bullies or whether we just let them ride roughshod. And right now I don't know what the outcome of that's going to be. I am just one person. I just make content. I have a cool team. We make cool content. We can't be held responsible for everybody else's actions. This week, someone sent me a message using our Contact Us page on our website. And they had, it was an anonymous one from what feels like it was a fake email address, like one of those ones where someone just randomly writes in some characters and then an @ sign and then a random domain. And when it came through on our email, it was flagged as spam, so the spam system already knew, and I've already reported it to the relevant folks. The comment went along the lines of, nice house you have, really expensive, showed a link to a Redfin listing for my house. Now my house is not on the market, so they'd obviously figured out which road I lived on, and then basically gone up the road until they found my house. Obviously that listing shows an estimated value from my house, and my house's value has gone up in the last 5 years since we bought it. And they made some comment about, funny how you can afford this. If you don't have any money, you don't pay yourself. And then they made a comment about long guns. And I want that person to know that they have been reported to the authorities. My initial reaction was to say, okay, we're going to turn off all comments. We're not going to have a Contact Us page. But that is what these people want. They want us to stop making content. They want us to be afraid. They want us to be scared. And I want to kind of wrap this all up by saying that's not going to work. We are not going to be scared into silence, because I think there are many more people who support what we do than who are angry at us for not doing what we do in the way they want us to do it. I know that our existence and our channel challenges a lot of people's conceptions and makes people angry, but that's a them problem, not an us problem. Yes, there are legislators in parts of the country who are trying to criminalize who I am. Texas, for example, is trying to make it illegal to exist as a trans person. And that scares me. But I live in Oregon, and I have options. And Transport Evolved's not going anywhere. However hard people may try and bully us. And something weird has happened of late, with more and more people feeling what's going on in the US, with more and more people feeling hurt, whether it's in the US or outside of the US. There's also this shared experience. And that shared experience, I think, is a good thing for everyone. And it makes me feel better, the fact that we have this shared experience. So, as I've just pulled into my dealership to get this part done, I want to finish off by saying, if you've watched this video thus far, thank you. There are lots of comments, lots of accusations, and lots of nonsense in our comments section. And at the end of the day, we're not gonna listen to the hate. We're not gonna listen to people trying to silence us because of some very often misplaced ideals that they have. We're not breaking the law. We're not being illegal. We are being truthful. We are digging deep. And we will upset people. Before I go, I also want to throw in a reminder that when news breaks, we don't always get to cover it straight away. We had a lot of people upset that we didn't cover the TILO launch last week. The press release about that launch came to us after we had already recorded our show, and we weren't invited. We weren't invited to the launch. I have reached out to TILO and asked them for assets, and as of right now, it's 11:15 on Wednesday, I haven't heard back from them. And if they are not willing to email us or talk to us, other than sending us pro forma press releases, it's very difficult for us to cover and review these vehicles. We can only review the vehicles that we are given access to. We are a small channel. That is just the way it is. If you feel that we are a terrible channel and we don't deserve to do that, well, that's your thing. But we make the videos we make, and we do the best we can with the resources we have. If you like that, feel free to continue watching us. If you don't, sucks to be you.
Thanks for joining us today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them in our Discord room, on our Patreon page down below, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon or Blue Sky. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They're part of the massive community of supporters who make this channel possible, helping us through Patreon and YouTube. That allows us to cover our bills, pay our team, and also ensures that we remain 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. We've got options available across a wide range of different price points, starting from $1.50 US a month. A massive welcome to our newest supporters: Eric Mora, Jordan Roy, Joseph DeViver, Scooted, Rennie Schweiger, Robert M, and Lev P. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your moment of fame, and you can now even gift membership to someone else. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have a good old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at for the time being, address listed below. You'll also find links to our swag store, and if you're someone who has to shop on Amazon, please consider using our affiliate link so that we get the commission instead of Jeff Bezos. So we can continue to focus on making our content even better and reduce creator burnout. We're being a little freer with our release days, but plan on dropping new content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on our main channel. Plus, on a Sunday, you'll find something over on Transport Evolved Take 2. If you want more, the algorithm that hates us thinks that you should watch this video, but we also think that this one is well worth checking out. Be awesome, be kind, be intentional, and don't forget to resist. Keep evolving.